Today's class is called Content Come Back In for my agents who have been attending my marketing classes since I started them. This is going to be kind of a repeat of a class that I taught like way back when we started the five content types. But it's always good to refresh on this kind of thing, and social media is always constantly changing. So I figured I'd bring it back, I guess, come back with it. With that being said, let me just go in percent, make sure. Let me know if anybody has any trouble seeing that, and I can adjust. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So growth requires visibility. That's really important when it comes to social media and also starting with social media, or if you're dusting off the cobwebs of your social media, of course. People can't refer to what they don't see. Showing up builds recognition over time, and that's really key too. I don't like expect perfection with social media. Consistency is always better um, than perfection when it comes to post. The more you show up, the more you'll be recognized, and it also builds familiarity, which is really huge. And then familiarity builds trust, and then trust builds business, kind of like with real estate in a sense. Like I said, small, consistent efforts make a big difference when it comes to social media and starting on all the platforms. So why people stop posting? There's a lot of reasons, and it can be overwhelming too when it comes to social media and starting out. So like overthinking content, like I said, waiting for perfection, not knowing what to post, comparing to other agents, or there's no clear strategy. Um, like I said, I'm gonna repeat that a lot, actually. Consistency beats perfection every time. It's okay to not know where to start because, like I said, social media can be very overwhelming, and that's, what Sam and I are here to assist with, of course, always. Um, but there's never like a wrong time to start. You can always start somewhere, whether it's like starting first on Facebook or Instagram, just like with one little post here and there. Yeah, there's never a bad time to start. So I'll jump into the five main content types. These are really important, and I have kind of formed the five to what I think applies best to real estate. So that's going to be educate, promote, connect, entertain, and personal. And a lot of topics can fall under all five of these. Some can even cross over, and that's totally fine. But I just want to make sure I like narrowed it down so it's not, I'm not throwing a bunch of information at you guys, so it's pretty easy to remember. So again, educate, promote, connect, entertain, and personal. And then I'll do a deep dive into each one. So first is educate, position yourself as the expert. So that includes like market updates, buying and selling tips, contract explanations, local area insights. Education builds authority and trust. When you know what you're talking about, people will gravitate towards you. And you guys are all real estate experts. I mean, I know nothing about real estate. So this is like your time to shine as a real estate agent on social media. So yeah, educate is a big one. And I feel like there's always information that can be shared. It's just a never ending supply of education that can be shared on social media. And then there's promote, of course. So show people that you're active. So it's new listings, open houses, just sold, client testimonials. If you don't promote yourself, no one else will. The more that you promote yourself, the more that people will share and be like, oh, I heard so and so has some open houses. Like if you're interested in like this part of San Diego or this part of Orange County, you should check them out. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook. When you build that kind of presence, people tend to remember you and will continue to reference you in the future, or they'll even share you on their own social media, which is pretty big. So, and then I got another question that's usually common with this. If you don't have any new listings or open houses coming up or have any at the moment, that's totally okay. The best way to circulate the promote topic is either showcasing other sold properties that you've had or client testimonial. Client testimonials are huge. When you use other people to kind of boost your business, that also can help promote your business. And then there's connect. So start conversations. So this is more getting people to interact with your social media and your business. So whether that's like polls on stories, would you rather, questions about neighborhoods, community recommendations. I'm sure everybody on here has a Facebook and Instagram and has seen somebody put like a poll or a quiz on their story, like, which would you prefer, this or that? Or like, hey, ask me questions about real estate. I'll stick with real estate for this class today. And people can type like little questions in the box on the story, and it builds engagement. So connection builds engagement. So that's another really easy topic to use on social media when you feel like you have nothing else to post. Always good to interact with your community, and it helps build your community too. So if you have a small following right now, it can help increase that following later down the line the more that you do it. And then the next one is entertain. This is probably my favorite one. Attention comes before conversion. So either using trending audio or real estate humor, relatable client moments, day in the life clips. So I know many of you probably follow the main Remax Connections account, and I know you all see all the funny things that we have Mike doing on there. That falls under the entertain category, and I think that works the best for everyone. People are always on their phones and they're always scrolling. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, always scrolling on reels. I always save the ones that are like the funniest that grab my attention immediately, that are something that it's different than what I'm normally seeing. um so like outside of like educate or connect or promote, something that like really grabs my attention. I save a lot of posts from bigger corporations that do entertain more because it's more relatable in that sense. But you can still be professional, also still be human, and that's really important too when it comes to entertain and also personal, which is the one I'll be getting into next. So yeah, entertain. Don't ever throw this one out because it's always available, and there's always some trend going on that you can use to your benefit. And then for personal, this is where you start conversations. So family moments, hobbies, fitness journeys, behind the scenes. Your personality is your differentiator, meaning this is what sets you apart from the other real estate agents. So you kind of have to ask yourself, like, what can I do that other real estate agents aren't doing on social media, or what can I better improve that they are doing on social media so that I stand out from the crowd? Um, so that can be like, I know I have one of my real estate agents here. Shulu goes on hikes and she posts that on her story. So that's an example of a personal post. Or you can do like a day in the life of the real estate agent. Behind the scenes when it comes to like open houses or staging. There's all kinds of ways to do like the personal topic. And again, it makes you more, in a sense, like 3D. It makes people be able to like relate to you and they see you as a person and not just like a social media account, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's personal. Those are the big five. So I would kind of keep those in the back of your mind when you're thinking about posting on social media. And I will finish when I finish this recording. I'll make sure that everyone gets it so that you guys have it available to you. All right, and then let's jump into the platforms that we have. So not every platform works the same way. Each platform has a different audience, a different tone, and different expectations. For Facebook, it's a strong local audience. It's great for community engagement, good mix of personal and professional. Still powerful for referrals. I feel like our buyers, at least the median age of buyers, tends to be on the older side, and that's where they all kind of reside is Facebook. I mean, they're starting to move on to Instagram more, I feel like, but I feel like most of the like common age for the buyers is going to be on Facebook. So that's probably where I would um, maximize your energy is into Facebook. And then I would go to Instagram next. Instagram is visual first platform, so like reels, stories, videos. Kind of want to stay away from still posts, so just like a photo. It's very strong for brand identity, so establishing like your personality and who you are is what Instagram is best for. Like I said, reels increase reach. I think reels is the most watched and engaged with form of media in the entire world. I think last time I checked, consistency matters most here. Instagram has a special algorithm that you don't have to pay for, which is really nice. That the more you post on there and that you're consistent about it, Instagram will boost your stuff for you, meaning it will send it out to people that are not part of your following for you without you having to do anything. So the more consistent you are here and the more consistent your posts are. So like if you're always posting reels, you're always doing stories, the more you're doing that, the more Instagram will boost your content for you and try and like get some people into your following, which is really nice. And then there's LinkedIn. Again, strong for local audience, great for community engagement, good mix of professional or personal and professional. Oh, I think they repeated. Oops. Um, this one's good for professional and more like high-end buyers. Usually like your strong business community is going to reside on LinkedIn, and that's where you can find um, that kind of demographic. And then it's also good. It is still powerful for referrals and networking. So I wouldn't diss LinkedIn either. It's a good use to broaden your network. And then there's TikTok. TikTok is more short form video. It's more authentic, how authentic you are versus polished. This is where consistency trumps perfection. And then education and personality perform best. And then the algorithm also favors consistency. So it's TikTok and Instagram are very similar. The nice thing about Instagram is that you can tie it into your Facebook. So like if you post on Facebook, it posts on Instagram and vice versa. TikTok is kind of on its own, so you just have to remember to make sure to engage with your TikTok following. That's going to be a bit more of a younger demographic, but a lot of people share TikToks with people all across the world. So I wouldn't just TikTok out either. It's a great way to build your network without really having to do much. And you can also always recycle content on TikTok as well. So what I tend to do is I'll take like reels that I post on Instagram and I'll put them on TikTok. It's the same thing. It converts the same way. And as long as again you have that consistency, TikTok will boost your content for you without you having to do much. And then there's X. X is more fast-paced and conversation driven. And then it's strong opinions perform on. I feel like we've all seen all kinds of crazy tweets come on the news from X. And then it's best for commentary and quick insights. So this one is more, I would click or I would lean more towards like short content inclusion. So like a short market update or like retweeting or I don't really know what they call re-Xing or something, who knows. Retweeting what other companies like if like Remax, for example, I know has an X account with like retweeting what they're saying and then giving your opinion on it. Kind of establishing your brand and your identity on there as well. Can also build your following, and you can link your other social media accounts. So like if you want people to be directed more towards your Facebook and Instagram because that's where you spend more of your time, that is absolutely an option as well. So those are the platforms that I recommend using. I know that was kind of a lot to throw at you guys. So please, if you have any questions or need me to go over something again, feel free to message me in the chat and I can do it. And then after that, there is the simple weekly content formula. So I just kind of threw together like an example of what I would do when it comes to posting. And again, you don't have to do this much. You can do one post. You can do more than that. You can do 5 posts if you really wanted to. There's no real like official rule book. This is just how I would do it as a marketer. So I did Mondays, educate, so market, update or home buyer tip. You could do Market Mondays, kind of a catchy name. And then Wednesday, I would do connect or entertain. So you can do day in the life or behind the scenes, because I know usually this is when open houses start to get set up or staging starts to get up. So because you want that house listed by the weekend so that you can have your open house. And then Friday would be promote or personal. So for promote, it'd be open house plans. And then personal would be weekend plans if you don't have an open house that weekend. So that's usually what I recommend works best that I've seen work really well for other agents that I do marketing for. Again, there's no official rule book. I feel like you can do pretty much whatever you want as long as it's consistent. Like I said, consistency is going to be your biggest thing here when it comes to building that regular social media appearance. I do have a question. Is there somewhere we can get open house tips? That's a good question, Emily. What do you mean by open house tips? Like setting up the open house or promoting the open house? Um, what do you mean by open house tips? Because I can go many directions with that question. I want to make sure I have it correctly. Usually, buyer tips. Um, I I'm not entirely sure. I don't have like a set place. I usually change a lot where I get um I mean, most content is provided to me by real estate agents. But what I've seen has worked is either articles they find online or other real estate agents, what they're doing on social media. It is totally okay to take stuff that they're sharing and share it on your own platform. Don't feel like that's stealing it. Art recreates art, in my opinion. As long as you put your own spin on it, it's totally fine. ChatGPT also, but I would be careful with that just because ChatGPT isn't always super accurate. But yeah, I see most people get their buyer tips either from ChatGPT, from other real estate agents, either sharing that information or seeing on social media or finding articles that they like. I know some of my agents here are subscribed to a lot of different newsletters and different articles across the board. And so they get like monthly or weekly emails from people and they have like that information provided to them. So it's a matter of just kind of going out and scouring the internet, and social media just to see what other people are doing. And yeah, yeah, of course. But good question. Yeah, don't ever be afraid to check out what other people are doing on social media because if it's working for them, they're doing something right. So that's what I usually recommend. But yeah, and then the content comeback plan. So this is how I would recommend easing back into social media, or if you're just starting out, this is how I'd recommend starting out in social media. Pick 1 to 2 platforms. So for my recommendation for the easiest start is just Facebook and Instagram because you can merge them and you can post things at the same time through Meta Business Suite, which I have a class on that I taught as well. Um, so I usually do Instagram and Facebook, just especially because like that's where I feel like most people's network has already been formed there. So it's easy to get interaction when you already have that available to you. And then I would commit to 3 posts per week. You can do 1 to 3, I would say, but I would at least try to post once a week. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, like I said. You can also always repost content too. Whether you, looks like, for example, if you find a home buyer tip that you really like, and you're in a rush, like I get it, you guys are busy, you guys have a million things you have to do. You can always share that to your story. That is still posting something, so you're still being consistent there. Instagram will recognize that and will continue to boost your content. Of course, later down the line and start posting stuff on your account, you'll get better traction that way. But even as just going on your story and just reposting that, or like, for example, even on our account, Remax Connections, if you see something that we posted that you like, posting that in your story as well, also counts as posting. And then rotate the 5 content types. That is really, really huge. Like I said, the more consistent you are, but also when you add a bit of flavor to that consistency, Instagram will start to spread it to different demographics that it think will apply to. And then stay consistent for 30 days. That was a challenge that I put when I taught this class way back when. Was just try and do this for like a month and then see the results at the very end. I promise you won't regret it. I did this with a real estate agent, I want to say 2 months ago, and his following has now jumped from 200 people to 600 people. And I know that may not seem like a lot, but for where he started to where he is now, that following is constantly growing. And I know his posts, he may not have a big following, but I know his posts get about 4,000 to 5,000 people interacting with it daily. So we're on track to get him up higher in a following. But that's what I'd recommend is when you lay down that consistency with Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, the algorithm will catch on to that. It kind of gives you like it tries to see what you're up to for like the first couple weeks, and then when it sees that you're continuing to do it, it will throw you in the mix and boost your content for you. Um, but yeah, that is the 5 content types. I know that was a bit of a kind of quick splurge of information. Again, rotate the 5 content types, pick platforms intentionally. Consistency builds beats perfection. Momentum builds visibility. This week's homework, because I do assign homework, and I'm going to bug people. I hope you guys did your homework from last class if you can even remember what it was. It was just updating your branding is what the homework was last time. But this week's homework is choose your 2 platforms, plan 3 posts for this week, and use the 5 content types. Post at least once before the next class. And then what's next is Sam and I are going to be teaching a class on First List. That'll be sometime in April, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for when we drop that date. Because we have some other things coming up in the works that may move that date around a little bit. So I don't have a set date for that yet. But that's supposed to generate early listing exposure, build buyer excitement, create flea market momentum, and increase opportunity before launch. First List is a really, really beneficial program, and it's available to you guys as part of Remax Connections. So I wouldn't miss that class if you can. But yeah, that is the 5 content types and the platforms. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. That is pretty much my time for right now. So I kind of tried to I left a pretty big time gap for questions. But I wanted to make sure that I made sure all the information was 5 type contents or the platforms. Feel free to throw in the chat. If not, then that is our class. So thank you so much for joining, everybody. Any good accounts on to follow on Instagram to learn about other agents? Oh yeah. I have a lot actually. Um, there is, oh my gosh, what's that guy's name? He does the buying Manhattan. Really famous guy. When I was in New York, I saw his business. So let me see here. Right. I have a whole SIG file for of course now my Instagram isn't working. I usually go on my For You page on Instagram, and I will literally just type in real estate and just kind of scroll and see what I can find. Um, okay, let me see here. Oh yeah, Ryan, I'm probably butchering his name here. Ryan Serhant is really good. He also like regularly uses the five content types, I would say, and he has a very, very big brand in Manhattan and across the country. I see his videos all the time. Owning Manhattan, that's the show that he's part of. I would say I will type his handle in here so you guys have that. I really like his content because he's like very, very well rounded in what he posts. And then there's also okay. There's also Tampa Bree, who she really only posts like funny content, but it does work really well for her. So I feel like people can make their own spin on that as well. And then there is another lady I follow who is the only way that I know her is she's a lady who does hide and seek in her listings, and she's gotten like over 7 million views on when reels when she does that. So again, it's really silly, but it does work for her. And I feel like that's another good example of like entertainment content. You can tell I have a favorite. It's entertaining. Um, but yeah, great question, Shalou. Anybody else? Let me go back to the content types. And of course, I'm always available to help brainstorm with content if you feel like you're stuck. As is Sam, we're both always available to assist you guys. Yeah, I'll give it a couple more minutes, and if nobody else has any questions, we can dismiss early. And maybe it was a little bit fast, but I try to cram as much as I can in the classes because I know your guys' time is very valuable. So yeah, I think we'll just dismiss early, and if anybody has, oh, thank you. If anybody has any questions after this class, again, feel free to email me. I'm always happy to assist when it comes to this kind of thing because I know it can be very overwhelming. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't see anybody else asking any other questions. All right, so I think we will.
Um, Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up, Marcelo?
Hi, good. Thank you. Thanks for your time. I, I was on mute. I was talking and I thought, okay, I didn't realize that I was
Oh,
on mute. I couldn't say it. I had a couple questions before, but I
yeah.
was curious. What are your thoughts about us putting like either a phone number leading to a landing page or a website or a QR code in a real estate sign when we have a listing for sale or for lease. Is there anything like that? What do you think about that?
It's like having a landing page available. I think it's a great resource. I think the best way to utilize it is um having your contact information available on there. I would always use QR codes unless it's something digital. If it's digital, always include the link. And I can help you create something like that. Usually I recommend Linktree. Linktree is like probably the best platform to use because it's very user friendly and it's you can add a lot on there. And I feel like it's the best way to boost both your social medias, yourself, and then also boost the listing itself too. Is that kind of what you were looking for?
Yeah, as far as social media, it's no, this was not related to social media. It was just a way to basically expose or promote a property through a real estate sign or open house sign.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Then yes, yeah. I would do a QR code that either can redirect them to the listing either on a website if you already have it, or a website, or like our website where the listing is present. Or we can always make a landing page for that too. Um, Is that what you meant?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I would definitely do a QR code, and those are really easy to make, and they can be used at any time, and you can have it be set where like it never expires. So like if you want to put it on like your business card, and when your listings obviously change, it'll the landing page will change, but the QR code won't, so you can always have it on you. That's probably how I would do it.
Got it. Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good question. Anybody else? Going once, going twice? If not, I will set you all free.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, of course, Marcelo. All right. I think that is our class. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And like I said, just keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next class. It will be first list, and it will be in April. And like I said, I'm always available if you have any questions, as is Sam. But for now, that is our class. And then just keep an eye out when I post this recording, and I'll include the presentation as well.